Yavuz, what do you think Erdogan's political endgame is when it comes to speaking in this way about this case?
As Doug pointed out, he spoke in bold letters again, repeating more or less the same narrative.
Right, nothing groundbreaking in the speech.
But we should have no doubt at the moment that this event, this incident, spilled over completely to a intense power struggle taking place in the region. And this will now turn into a sort of arms wrestling between Turkey on one side and Saudi Arabia on the other side, with Egypt in the background. Because Erdogan, in Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, sees a foe who he thinks is aiming at what Mohammed bin Salman believes the last bastion of Muslim Brotherhood, personified by Erdogan and his administration. So it is interesting that in the speech he's addressing the king rather and avoiding to mention the crown prince. Mm-hmm. It means that he's throwing the ball into the king's court to clarify and to, if possible, Erdogan hopes, to oust the Mohammed bin Salman out of the way. With it, if he succeeds, Mohammed bin Salman out of the way, Erdogan will have gained a lot of territory in terms of this power struggle that's been taking place between Turkey and Qatar at one side and Saudi Arabia and Egypt in the background on the other side. This is where we are at the moment. This incident has turned into a tool, very useful tool for Erdogan, sort of a God's gift for him to utilize all the components to his favor. This is given the how skillful Erdogan is in world politics in terms of putting people or powers against each other. This is a new phase, let's say. As remember that also the CIA head is now in Ankara or heading to Ankara to meet, and Washington is also feeling squeezed because they still don't know what. If Erdogan revealed everything that he knew, he's keeping the negotiation table open, as he indicated very clearly in this speech.
So you mentioned that the ball that Erdogan has thrown the ball into Riyadh's court now. So where does Riyadh go from here if the ball is indeed in their court? And how can Saudi Arabia sort of weather this crisis?
I think, to put it simply, at the moment, I think much will be decided on how the ball will be played between Riyadh and Washington, D.C., rather than between Riyadh and Ankara, because as far as it is known widely and believed internationally, that Saudi Arabia and America, United States and Saudi relations are based on strategic traditional, decades-long strategic cooperation. And it means that King, still being a wise person, believes that he, at the end of the game, will have the United States or Trump administration on his side. That may be somewhat explanatory where King will stand. Either extend the negotiations, involving more and more elements of the Trump administration to this negotiation, and try to find a middle ground. But the big question mark still is what will happen with the Crown Prince.